Academic years, the way universities operate, have their own cadence. And this time of year, it's a great opportunity to celebrate and also to take stock, to recognize excellence, and to also express our gratitude. Greg Connors earlier thanked our Board of Trustees. We've been in meetings with them for the last 2 days. Their engagement level, what they do for our university to make us better, to make the opportunities transformational for our students and thereby impact the world. We can't say enough, and their ideas to make us better. We'll just put a few of them on the spot, just to say particular thanks. Eric Bershad, who he left? Okay. There he is. Who's committed $500,000 to help us with marketing and branding activities. So, thank you, Eric. Jim Jordan, who's been a longstanding member of the Board of Trustees, has committed $1 million to help beautify our campus, particularly on the outside, and make the brand manifest here on the main part of campus. So Jim, thank you for the wonderful support. John Edmond.
John's not here.
John, okay, yeah. Joe is with us this afternoon. For those of you that are student athletes, you've noticed that the lights on Unovich Field, 25% of them no longer work. We were in the New York Times in 1959, I think, being the first lighted stadium and the crowd of thousands that we drew. John Edmonds started the company Cree. They're one of the leaders in the LED space. So earlier today committed $250,000, hopefully by homecoming, to have new LED lighting for Unovich Field. And then a couple other gifts, people that aren't here, an individual who's committed $500,000 to help us with student advising and retention, who's been a longstanding supporter of the job Kathy Woofter is doing. And then another individual, an anonymous gift for $1.25 million to help build a bridge between engineering and art and design in the Ceramics College. So we'll toast them in absentia. So thank you to the board for what they do. We have 2 doctors-to-be in our midst. So we'll first recognize our 2 honorary degree recipients. And to introduce the first one, you'll see why it's a combination. The particular combination: Mike Carey, who's a Board of Trustee member, and Rich Booth, who's on our staff.
Don't worry, everybody. I'm not getting a doctoral degree. Yeah. I'm going to allow that because it's exactly what I was thinking. I'll put this drink down here. So, thank you, first of all, for the honor to introduce Don McPherson. I've been on the trustees now for 2 years. I am 43 years old, was a mechanical engineering grad in the late 90s from Alfred. And frankly, until I started to become a parent, I had no idea or never paid attention to color blindness. So my wife, whose father is completely colorblind, and so I'm from Jersey originally, so a little context. So my wife is one of the offspring of a Polish woman who married an Italian. All right, so you can imagine the holidays and the dinners. Okay, so there's a certain degree of stubbornness that comes with that genetic makeup, which is probably why me of Irish descent and my wife get along so well. But I didn't know my father-in-law was colorblind until long after my wife and I started dating, And really, you take these things for granted until you experience them for yourself. And what I didn't know, and then my wife and I get married and we have kids, and now we've got 3. I got 2 boys, the oldest and the youngest. And when my oldest, Ryan, who is about to turn 15 in a couple weeks, when he was about 4 or 5, you notice things. I'm an engineer, like I said, and there's 1,000 Lego boxes in my house. You start realizing, I'm like, man, what is this kid doing? What's he looking at? Like putting stuff together and realizing that he can't tell the difference from gray or purple. Okay? Crayons. You get something as simple as, okay, you get an assignment in preschool that, you're still supposed to draw something. And there's a lot of tools they use to kind of develop those fine motor skills that involve color. And you realize you don't realize these things are just, they're not available for everybody. And then a year ago I met Don. 2 years ago I heard about his glasses. A year ago I had the pleasure of meeting him here at this dinner. And then I surprised my son Ryan with these glasses this summer. So I don't know if you want to, whoever's got the video,
Ryan, what's the grass look like?
It's like, it actually looks green.
We got something for you.
That's my little guy in the background who never stops talking. He's also colorblind.
Good. Grab the balloons and go outside. Let's see. Put them on the table.
No.
All right, Ryan.
What's this color? How colorful?
Shawnee, put them down.
Does he mix up?
Read the instructions book.
Well, it doesn't mix them up. They're just like.
That's me torturing my kids. Just read the instructions for a pair of glasses.
Go outside.
Okay, good. I seen a famous person put them on, and then he
Karen,
sold
no,
all
good.
those. He sold blue for the first time. The moment of truth.
Oh my god. It's so much different.
I wonder. Can I try? Okay, what's
Now look at
this
the
called?
balloons, buddy.
Which colors are the different? They're all just like, these look exactly the same without them. I can see the difference now.
Can I try? Can I try? Wow. Let me try. I volunteer first.
You guys, are you colorblind? Something working? Yeah, Sean's actually colorblind, not as strong as Rainbow.
Yeah, so I'm not colorblind.
Did it work?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Can I try that?
No, Shawnee.
We'll have to like
You could
give
be
them
like
time
these
to
snakes,
adjust it.
right?
So.
Oh my god.
I think there is an adjustment period. Yeah.
Yeah, it's at like 10 minutes.
So keep them on. Keep them on. Look at the flowers.
Said, don't keep doing that because then your eyes will adjust.
Watch out. Can you see the flowers?
Yeah.
Can I shoot your
So we do tests at the item for like with 10 minutes. Yeah. We got
What color is Quinn's shirt?
Red, I'm assuming.
Sean got like 2 out of 10.
Great
Hey,
job.
where's the Ryan? What's the grass look like?
It's like. It actually looks green.
It actually looks green.
Like dead grass before just looked like white to me. Now it's
Yeah?
not actually this color.
How about over here? Like, can you see the different shades?
Show them to Chloe.
What color are those flowers?
We'll let you try too.
Yellow. Red.
They work?
Yeah.
All right, repeat after me. Don McPherson, you're the man.
What's his name?
Don McPherson, you're the man.
Don McPherson, you're the man.
Thanks, Don.
So that was day one, right? And every day since then has been an experience for Ryan and the rest of our family. Sorry. So we live in Utah. It's one of the most beautiful places in the country. My family now gets to enjoy the wildflowers. Thank you. It wasn't the purple one. That's why I wasn't pissed.
So thank you. First of all, thank you for inviting me.
You're not done yet. You got one more intro.
Oh my God.
This is an actual user. I'm just a facilitator.
Sorry.
We'll stop
I'm
talking.
short, so I'll stand up on my tiptoes. My name is Richard Booth. It's great to meet you. I am here in the ITS staff. When I was in second grade, I was diagnosed as colorblind. And I'm an emotional guy as well, so please bear with me. The first thing I thought was, everyone's going to pick on me. So my reaction was quite negative. I found out because I had to organize little pegs in colored sections, and I failed miserably. So growing up, it's very frustrating because when you get a color wrong and somebody asks you, what are you, colorblind? And you say yes, inevitably you get the, well, what color's this, what color's this, what color's this for the next hour and a half, and it becomes extremely frustrating. So this year I had heard about these glasses, and I had seen others years ago when I was a kid, but they barely worked and they were really, really ugly. So I decided I'd rather, I'd be okay. So I tried these on, and immediately the difference was striking. I had seen colors I'd never seen before. Purple was something that I hadn't seen much of. It was always odd, like dark grays or some sort of blues. Purple wasn't a color that I could really see that well. And another question I had gotten was, well, I'll get to that in a moment. So I tried these on, and immediately, purple. Mary McAllister had asked me, can you see this purple in this flower? And I remember saying, it's the purplest purple I've ever seen in my life. Like, it was fantastic. So I had the opportunity to get a pair of these glasses, and I tried them on, and the first thing I thought was, there's a lot of things in this world that are green and blue. I hadn't really seen much of them. The grass, beautiful. I mean, the sky, gorgeous. So that got me excited. I had vowed I wasn't going to be like everyone in the videos that gets all emotional. So I drove by my friend Trevor's house. His house was always brown. And I drove by it, and I sped up. And I sped all the way home, and I ran in the house, and I said to my wife, honey, did you know Trevor's house is red? So the things that got me emotional were the next day when I was driving to work. I stopped at a red light, which honestly I thought was brown my whole life. I stopped at a red light, and that light turned green. Those green lights were white to me my whole life. And I sat through the entire procession of that light staring at that green light because it went from green to yellow to red for the first time in my life. And I had mentioned this to Don. He said if I had lived in San Francisco, I would have been in trouble. But the last thing that got me, and this seems so innocuous, is I pulled out my legal pad the next day. And I put the glasses on, and I called Mary. And I said, Mary, did you know my legal pad is yellow? And that was the last one. She had said, well, what was it before? I said it was green. Legal pads were green growing up. So it's made a huge difference in my life. My quality of life is better just knowing that I can look at a color and see what it is and say it and not get, what color is this, what color is that for the next hour and a half. Just yesterday, I was at my son's baseball practice watching him, and I had him on my head, and I noticed that the sky, I could see sunbeams coming through the clouds. They just looked really washed out. And I thought, well, I wonder what will happen if I do this. And I stared at the sky like this for 20 minutes because the sun rays were so beautiful and so vibrant coming through the clouds. So what you're doing Dr. McPherson, is changing lives. And it's made a difference in my life. It's made a difference in this gentleman's life. And it's a product that I can't thank you enough for making. So thank you very, very much.
Okay, now can I speak? So, thank you. This is, honestly, I'm tall. Let me try this. That looks weird. I've had a lot of honors come my way in the last year or two, and it's had a strange effect. It's made me very humble, but also dedicated to push what I've done to the next level. I've been kind of lazy in a weird way, and haven't really pushed myself as hard as I can. And even just driving down here today, I was thinking about these strange little bits of undone science that I've left behind me in the last few years that I really don't have answers for. And I believe that they're part of a puzzle, and I have to be more like a detective and figure out why these few things don't really fit into my cosmology yet. So, I have a funny reaction when I watch videos like Michael's video of his son. And, it's amazing and beautiful, but I'm looking for the science in it. And one of the things about balloons is that they have no assigned color. Like, they're not like a octagonal shape that says STOP. Someone says the stop sign is red. You're like, well, you've known that your whole life. Or they say the grass is green. But I've seen so many videos from very young children up to grandfathers correctly identifying all the balloon colors, just one after the other. And when they take the glasses off, they can't tell blue from purple and orange from red. They just can't tell them apart. So I love listening now with this sort of my more attuned ear to these stories, because I always gain something out of it that fits in with a bigger picture. And I've been doing this now for a year or two. And starting this spring, I had this idea, which was triggered by somebody sending me a video that his wife took of him arranging train parts, that she dumped them out on the floor, and they were red and green. And she timed him. And then he made some mistakes. And then he put the glasses on and he redid it. He made no mistakes and did it in half the time. And I had one of these aha moments, and went out and got Legos. And I have every color Lego that has ever been made. And then I got out my spectrophotometer and I scanned them all and I converted them, put them into a color space, found out which ones are confusing. And immediately, we have 3 colorblind employees, and called one into the office, dumped it out on the gray rug, and he plopped down and started arranging them. And I had my watch out. And I realized something really profound. I was telling Mark about this earlier, that nobody likes taking tests. Here we are at a university, and we do it because they won't give you a degree if you don't. But none of us like it. And something about Legos, it's because we played with them. We're not afraid of them. It's like growing up with wolves. Like, we don't run from them. And these adults act like little kids, and they'll do whatever I say. They'll arrange them into piles, and as Michael said, they confuse certain colors, like pink and gray, pale green and gray, browns and reds, and purple and blue. And so you can sort of follow what they're doing. And out of that, I observed something really kind of profound. If you ask somebody who's colorblind to name a color, they don't tell you the color. They tell you how bright it is. And I've never read that anywhere. But it's like this really deep clue. Like I said, this is a detective story. And there's all these clues. And after they start wearing the glasses for a while, they stop using a brightness descriptor to tell you what color it is. So that's like some evidence that something has shifted in their at the cortical level, right? So anyway, I could go on for an hour or two about this because I'm starting to do all these investigations into the neural processes of color blindness, and it's all tied up with learning and what they call memory color, and all these really clever tests that you can do to show that somebody either has a memory of a color or not. Banana. Y'all see something yellow in your head. Well, it turns out it's not actually yellow. It's overly saturated version of yellow. So you can use games like that to figure out what people are actually seeing. You can bypass the naming process, which is fraught with problems, and go straight to something that is measurable and quantifiable. And that's what I'm working on now. And I love every minute of it. And I will talk more about how I got here tomorrow. But I got here because of, here being there, but I got there from here. And here is an amazing place. And I'm just so grateful to be an alumni of this college. I mean, this is where I learned how to think. And to see Michael and hear stories like this, I don't tire of them because it's a reaffirmation. I have to get used to it. That I did that. And there's more to come. And I will make Alfred proud. I promise.
Don's here with his wife, Ellie. They just got married recently, bought their first home. 2 years. And bought their first home in the Bay Area. And was just some poignant moments where he came to us to study art and design and ended up becoming an engineer. And Vern Burdick is here, there was an art faculty member who said, we no longer have this program that's in your book, but go see Vern. And earlier today, Don was saying, engineering. But art, and then shifted over to engineering. And then Don was saying earlier, Vern, you're the reason I came to Alfred. So you'll see the latest alumni magazine, the 3 feature stories, how life's paths will change. On their way down here from Canandaigua, too, they stopped at a restaurant in Naples, and one of the individuals they met at this restaurant is a 2016 grad of ours, and was recounting how similar her experiences were with Don's experiences, and Terry Galanis earlier with his dad from the class of 40, how that continuity, that very personalized attention. And the last anecdotal share from Don was, he was saying, the last mentor I had was here at Alfred, and then kind of got set on my way, but prepared me well to change the world. So thank you, Don. So he's going to be a double doctor tomorrow. Next to introduce Michelle Cohn, Gerard Edizal, who's the Dean of our School of Art and Design, and Kathy Woofter. And you'll see why we paired them.
Oh, here's Gerard. I can't run or dance like you, so.
Well, I didn't know. I thought I had time. Hello. Art. Curiosity, playful exploration, caring about carving a space of freedom, obsession. All of these are part of art. But what is, I think, essential to art is love. because art is a love affair. And in 1999, when Adam Cohen came to Alfred, he was pursuing a love affair. We knew he was in love with art and with our school. But we found out that his mother would fall in love with art and Alfred also. 2001, Michelle became a trustee of Alfred University. And the School of Art and Design benefited tremendously from her love of art and of the School of Art and Design and of Alfred University. Well, that love was demonstrated in several ways. We have the Cohen Barn Studios, where our foundations program is functioning. We have the Cohen Gallery, a jewel that connects us to our alumni. We have the Cohen Apartments, where we have... Okay, I'm going to start again. We have the Cohen Apartments, where we can proudly say to our guests, visiting artists and artists in residence, please come. We have apartments for you, just for you. All of these have raised the profile of our school in tremendous ways. I mean, I can go on and tell you the stories. We have an eminent printmaker who is in love with our school, with how we have welcomed her, how we have kept her in the Cohen Apartments and so on. She doesn't want to leave. She doesn't want to go back to Argentina. Really. She has traveled around the world. She has been to all great, big, powerful universities, but she says Alfred is special because of the people who support us, like Michelle Cohen. So she has helped us, help raise the profile of our school. And when I say profile, I also remember the profile shows. She supported our BFA and MFA graduates for several years in a row, have exhibits in New York City, in Manhattan, downtown Manhattan, in prime areas in Manhattan, show their works. And then came the first endowed deanship. The Michelle and Martin Cohen deanship, the first one that somehow I enjoy right now, and I hope I'm true to. I can say that I'm worthy of the honor. Maybe I can do the right thing with it. So, great friend of the School of Art and Design. Not the only one. We have many friends of the arts of the School of Art and Design here, but tonight we are celebrating Michelle Cohen. Thank you so much.
So as Gerard said, Michelle has been a member of the Alfred University Board of Trustees since 2001. And in that time, she has been chair of the Student Affairs Committee of the Board since 2006. That is incredible. I cannot imagine the Student Affairs Committee without her leadership, both in front of the committee, but also behind the scenes, which many people probably don't see. Regardless of the serious issues that we face and that we have to talk about in student affairs and that we have to process 12 months out of the year, Michelle makes a special effort at every committee meeting to make sure that we don't just focus on the serious issues or the issues that are gut-wrenching, but that we take time at every meeting to celebrate student achievement and student activities so that the trustees are never, ever disconnected from the joys of student life on a college campus, on this college campus. Michelle is highly informed, has become highly informed on student life issues. She's become an expert in areas like Title IX issues, safety on college campuses, student mental health, student activities, and especially applied and experiential learning, which as a former Career Center director for several years is something that's really near and dear to my heart. It is my passion to help students find out what it is they love to do and then to hopefully make money doing it and do that through. In fact, I was trying to convince Logan of a career change just earlier today, so like half an hour ago, so never stops. So last summer, Michelle and her husband Marty gave us a wonderful lead gift for our Apex program, which is going to give all Alfred University students going forward the opportunity to get a wonderful applied or experiential learning opportunity and to make that possible. I just want to see who are the Apex design team members in the room, the folks that helped design this program after getting the lead gift. Raise your hand. Thank you. I think that I can speak for all of my colleagues here who just raised their hand when I say, with as much certainty as I have felt about anything, and just an aside, my husband said, I should say with the certainty that the Mets are going to choke in the postseason, but sorry, I'm a Bills fan. Sorry. Anyway, I can say with as much certainty as that the sun is going to rise tomorrow, that Apex will become a hallmark of the Alfred University experience. To have the chance to study abroad, complete an internship, undertake a research project, complete a great capstone experience, that is one thing. That's amazing. But to have the resources, to make the resources available, to make it happen for every single student that comes to Alfred University, that is entirely different. That is next level stuff. So, unfortunately, I don't have a video, but if I did, it would probably be, myself on an everyday day on a college campus, frustrated, maybe ripping my hair out, stressed out about something that's happened, something serious, maybe something that is serious enough that every student and every faculty member knows about it. But sometimes things that thankfully you don't know about because it just hasn't reached that level, but Michelle knows. And so the video would be of me freaking out in my office, and I get a phone call, and it's Michelle on the other end of the line, talking me down, letting me know she's there, and just listening. And that is worth so much, and I just thank you so much for that, Michelle, for that support over the years. Michelle, you've been an inspiration to me, the type of inspiration that Mark Zupan was talking about to the trustees earlier today that helps us do what we do. A support in tough times, and the best trustee chair that I can ever imagine. So it is Gerard's and my pleasure to introduce Michelle Cohen.
Well, I can honestly say I never expected to be part of a graduation like this is going to be for me, and I'm beyond thrilled and humbled by all of this. But I do want to assure everybody that I'm ready. And I have a couple of promises for you. I promise to be short, to have a short speech. I promise not to redecorate the gym. And hopefully I will not throw up like that poor child in Parkland, Florida. So I just want to thank you so much for this honor. I can't tell you how much it means to me. And I don't sort of remember my graduation all that much. It was many years ago, a couple of years ago. But I do have to say that I will remember this graduation always. So thank you.
Thank you.
We received from a friend a note I'd like to read about Michelle. It's from Patty Weiss, who's the head advancement officer at the Hebrew Home in the New York City area. And she writes, there are many definitions of the word doctor: a person trained in the healing arts, a learned person, a teacher, are three. It is exquisitely natural and appropriate that Michelle Cohn would be awarded a Doctor of Arts degree, honoris causa, and thereafter be known as Dr. Cohen, because Michelle, in all the years I have known her, and it is 45 years and counting, has been the truest and most talented healer, teacher, and learned professional and friend. She's always the go-to for a solution, for a resolution to, for a workable and wise answer to any conflict or conundrum. She knows how to soothe any wrinkle and solve any puzzle. Her solution, her answer is always generous, kind, and clever, and it always works. Michelle has been the doctor I've been consulting for the whole of my adult life. I've relied on her good counsel just as I know Alfred University has. She does know how to engineer miraculous cures. With enormous love and respect and delight, I propose that we all consider ourselves so very fortunate to have Dr. Michelle Resnick Cohen by our side in the house and the healer of all encompassing creative prescriptions and cures. A giant hurrah for Dr. Michelle Resnick Cohen. With much love, and I'm also, she says, going to make a contribution to the APEX program, which is the best way to go about doing this. So Jason will follow. Michelle's husband, Marty, is here, and one of her two sisters, Sherry from the Poconos. So thank you for joining us. I've never been so wired up. I've got a video wire. I've been fearing, for those of you that live up here, we lost power last weekend, and have this fear that the power will go off and I'll get shorted out in the process. And then couldn't resist with Mike Carey's comment with the Polish Eastern European connection, or Poland, Italian, have some similar Eastern European Italian family roots. And you've probably heard the joke, what do you get when you cross a Hungarian with an Italian? Somebody who makes you an offer you can't understand. Kathy always introduces our Marlon Miller Outstanding Seniors. But tomorrow, one of her and Bob's two sons is graduating. So she'll be there in spirit. But she's going to introduce our two Marlon Miller Outstanding Senior Award winners tonight.
Thanks, Mark. It is absolutely, it's wonderful that our son is graduating from a different university at the same date and time, I suppose, but I'm really going to miss my job of introducing the outstanding seniors, especially these two wonderful women, as well as how much I'm going to miss seeing our two new doctors get their honorary degrees. But with regard to the Marlon Miller Outstanding Senior Awards, this was an exceptionally competitive year. We had the most nominations since we started keeping track in 2004. So it's really saying something. It was a very competitive pool. So Let me start with Beryl Torte. Beryl from Pretoria, South Africa, is a psychology major, clinical psychology, who's a candidate for Psychology Department Honors and an Alfred University Scholar. She's been named to the Dean's List each semester of her undergraduate career at Alfred. You may hear more a little bit later about her level of academic achievement. So I won't go on about that right now. She's a member of several academic honor societies, including Phi Beta Kappa, Omicron Delta Kappa, Psi Chi, Pi Gamma Nu, and Chi Alpha Sigma. An accomplished writer, Torte won the Getz Award for Excellence in Academic Writing in 2015, and she just won the Phi Beta Kappa Wit and Wisdom competition for her excellent writing about her experience as an emergency medical technician. And to try to make that funny is really something, so... Beryl has been a tennis team captain, and earlier today she just won the Ideal Saxon Award from our athletic director, Paul Vecchio. Also, a very competitive award. She has served as a resident assistant and a student tour guide for the Office of Admissions. She's a founding member of the Student Saxon Circle and a Saxon Nation donor, and she has served as student representative to the Board of Trustees, University Relations Committee, and the Alfred University Peer Review Board, University Conduct Board, and the Bias Response Team. Finally, although only because of time, not because there's any lack of achievements that I could go on and talk about, Beryl is a New York State certified emergency medical technician, and she volunteers for the A.E. Crandall Hook and Ladder Company in Alfred, where she's on call 30-plus hours per week. So she's got a little to do. After graduation, Beryl is headed to Columbia University for a graduate program in clinical psychology. On a personal note, I will just say that Beryl is one of the most resilient people that I've ever met. Facing personal adversity and tragedy with grace and with a desire and a need to help others who are in similar situations. And I really thank you for that. Please welcome up Beryl Torte.
Thank you so much. The school does such a wonderful job of speaking highly of me, but they actually don't know that I'm actually quite a delinquent. And recently I was pulled over by a state trooper, first time in my life, and it was around 250 miles away from Alfred, so really not Allegheny County territory. And I was going a little over the speed limit, and was pulled over, and the gentleman walked up to me and asked for my license and, driver's, all that good stuff. And I did. And then he asked me, "Where are you driving from?" And I was shaking, and I said, "Alfred University." And he actually looked at me, and his eyes sparked up, and he said, "Is that the place they play Quidditch?" I'm very happy to say I did not get a ticket. So without giving too much of my graduation speech away or anything like that, I would just like to say it's a great honor to be standing here tonight. My family has flown in from 3 different continents, and everyone's made it on time. The one person that... thank you. Yeah, American Airlines. Woo. But one person that is missing in the audience tonight is my mother, and that is because we've kept it a secret that I'm going to be speaking at graduation tomorrow. So she was a little curious to know where we were going off to tonight. So I think she's eating at the Jet. And Michelle, I would just like to say I'm very impressed with your graduation cap. Mine looks slightly different. Mine says, "I still need a green card," and has my phone number at the bottom. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful night.
Do any of you just think back, if you went to college, do any of you just think back and wonder what the heck you did in college? Like, maybe it's just me. let's continue in that vein. Our next Marlon Miller Outstanding Senior for 2018 is Logan G. Logan's a resident of Nunde, New York, right up the road, majoring in Communication Studies and English. She's a member of Phi Beta Kappa also, the Honor Society for Liberal Arts and Sciences, and Sigma Tau Delta International English Honor Society. Logan is a member of the Alfred University Honors Program, and she is very active as a writer, receiving the Gifford Hopkins Writing Prize in 2017. She's been the editor-in-chief of the Fiat Lux newspaper since 2016 and a past recipient of the Sharon Hoover Fiat Lux Award. And this is so well deserved. Obviously, I've been here long enough. I've seen the Fiat in all kinds of different iterations, and Logan has really elevated. You've just done such a great job. Far more than one student should ever have any business doing by herself. And I'm really grateful for all you've done for the Fiat. Logan has also served for a few years as a recruiting intern at the Career Development Center. And as her supervisor, Valerie, wrote, Logan is the student employee that you wish you had 10 of. Additionally, Logan has served as the box office manager for the Division of Performing Arts. She was the assistant to the director of the Most Arts Festival during the summers of 2015 and 2016. And she was layout and design editor for the Alphadelphian, which is the annual newsletter of the Women and Gender Studies program, as well as a past editor of the Honors Program newsletter. And again, finally for Logan, and not just because that's it, but because we have to leave at some point tonight, she's been an orientation guide, a peer leader for the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, a student representative on the search committee for the Director of Student Activities just last year, and she is the past vice president for the Student Senate here at AU. So after graduation, Logan plans to stick around for a little bit, which is awesome. As you just heard, I'm trying to give her all kinds of career advice. I am personally thrilled because I am not ready to let her go. Please welcome Logan G.
So I did not know that I would be speaking tonight. So I'm going to keep it a little brief, just so I don't dip too much into the speech that I will be giving tomorrow morning. But I am just so thankful for all the time that I've been able to spend here. 4 years, it flew by so fast, and I'm thinking about it, and it feels like 10, but it doesn't, you know. All of the opportunities that Alfred University has provided me, I'm so thankful. There's just so much. There's so much. So thank you. I'm so appreciative of everything. Thank you.
Two real slackers. Beryl shared a quote from her late father yesterday and said one of his favorite sayings was, I think paraphrasing, to be humble is to lead a good life. And with both Logan and Beryl, they epitomize that saying. I know your dad would be very proud. Your mom will be even prouder than she is, and both parents, Logan in your case, tomorrow. So next we have, and I'm going to have Rick introduce both our Excellence in Teaching Award winners and our top 4 GPA student winners.
After what we just heard, does anybody have any doubts in your mind that somebody who has a degree from a college of liberal arts and sciences can make it their way in the world? You know, we ask that question a lot, and we kind of ask it sometimes out of our own ignorance, but when we have right in front of you, you know, the students that we have, how can you doubt what the future will be? We have other students as well in other areas who are just amazingly accomplished. And I just sort of like to recognize, and I'll say this tomorrow, but it give you just a little sneak peek into the, got to find my eyes here. a little sneak peek into something about how accomplished they are. And so, if Beryl, if you would just stand back up again one more time. Logan, please also stand. Oh, excuse me, not Logan. I made a mistake. You're both from LAS. Reed McLean, are you here? Please, stand up. Taylor, Kelly, are you still here? Right over here. Great. And Amber Cramp, are you here? Okay, I didn't think so. So let me tell you a little bit about Beryl here in terms of, and I'm sort of like with Kathy, what did I do in college? But think about a 3.98 GPA in psychology in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. Or for Reed, another 3.98 GPA in art and design. Or for Taylor, a 3.98. Are you getting sort of a rhythm here in mechanical engineering? We do have a slacker in Amber, just a 3.90, so that's why she's not here, I guess. But they all put me to shame. But, think about what they've accomplished, and let's just give them one more round of recognition. Now, they're going to get more tomorrow with that, so that's why I'm not spending a lot of time with them. But I want to shift our focus to somebody else. Everybody in here had somebody who took an interest in you in a particular kind of way. Mine was just a few years ago. His name was Hollister, Dr. Elliot Hollister. He had a mustache that he waxed. And he called out to me one time in the school where I attended, and he said, "Stevens, what are you doing with yourself?" And I had showed up in his classes, and I kind of liked him. I hadn't declared a major, and he said, "Come with me." And I followed along, and I ended up becoming a sociology major, and he had my life all mapped out. I was going to law school, etc. And I ended up taking some other turns along the way, but he took an interest in me. And that's what the role of the faculty is here. A little while ago, we were sharing at my table, and I talked a little bit about meeting some football recruits and their families on campus. Greg was a football recruit, so he tells us, but the thing that was interesting is I was sort of going through some things that I normally say to young people about a future. Interestingly enough, these graduates today, at least half of them will see the next century. We already know that demographically. All of a sudden, that starts to give us a sense of responsibility for a life that has another 80 years. Imagine that. And so I'm talking to these prospective students, these young, healthy guys, about playing football. And then I ask them to shut down for just a minute, go back to their phones or wherever they go when they're not listening to guys with white hair talk. And I say, I want to talk to the parents just a little bit. And I said, here's something I want you to understand and believe if you can, that one of my responsibilities, and actually our responsibilities together here at Alfred University, is to ensure that the life that you may share with us, your sons in this case, is a life that we will value in such a way that we will make sure that they are surrounded by the very best, not only of the minds that we can find, but of the people who will invest themselves, their lives, into the life that you'll share with us. And so as we have these conversations with each other around the table and the presentations, you may be getting information about how to quantify vision. But I bet every one of you feels something right here as people are talking. Gerard Ezel called it love. Today, at the end of board meetings, we had the first 3 verses from Genesis. let there be light. And so we're here to honor also those people who have dedicated their lives to the best interests of our students, and that's the faculty. Our staff do too. But at this moment, I want to talk a little bit about the faculty. And so we call it teaching excellence recognition, but it's really so much more than that. It's somebody who says, I'll invest in you, I will care for you, I will love you in all sorts of ways. And sometimes it's tough ways, such as when Dr. Hollister kind of horse-collared me and said, what are you doing with your life? So I'm going to ask these people to stand, continue standing until I go through the list, and then let's thank them as we really should. And so I'm not going to tell you much about, but I'll give you the name of the faculty member and sort of where they are, and a little, maybe a tad about them if we need to, and then let's thank them together. Some of them I know are not here, so we won't have that awkward moment. I'll just go through with it. So, an assistant professor in glass and sculpture and dimensional studies, Karen Donnellan from the School of Art and Design. An assistant professor in mechanical engineering, Isan Gatbi, right back here. And keep standing. We're going to clap for you some more. An associate professor in psychology, Bethany Johnson. A clinical assistant professor in athletic training, Melissa Long. Yes. She's no longer just visiting. An assistant professor in criminal justice studies, Michelle Lowry. A professor of chemistry, Garrett McCown. An associate professor of mechanical engineering, Joe Rosikowski. An assistant professor of school psychology, Rachel Roth. A professor of English, Melissa Ryan. And a clinical professor in the School of Art and Design, Catherine Veda. These and about 150 others are those to whom we entrust the young people to give an influence that will last the next 80 years, so let's thank them collectively.
We introduced three new staff awards through Javina Lloyd's shop this year to better recognize staff and faculty that go the extra mile. And we had some donors, each came with a $1,000 award that the recipients didn't know about ahead of time. So we received a lot of nominations, but we expect many more next year in light of that. So Javina Lloyd is going to mention the three winners this year, a couple of whom I think are with us tonight. Javina.
Thank you, Mark. As you mentioned, we held a faculty staff reception earlier this week in honor of our faculty and staff years of service, as well as the special awards that the committee put together. This is the first year that we've done awards such as this. We had about 7 or 8 awards in total that we'll be rolling out going forward, but I'll speak just briefly to the 3 that we did award this week. The first one was the Kathy Johnson Service Award, and this award is in honor of Kathy Johnson, who many of you may know. Passed away back in December. She was the assistant to the School of Art and Design Dean. So this award in memory of Kathy Johnson criteria was to abide by high standards of professionalism, demonstrate proactive engagement with tasks lying ahead, and complete tasks with attention to detail and the utmost care for quality. And the award winner this year was Kathy Schnurl, who's a secretary for financial aid. I'm not sure if she's with us tonight, but if she is, could you please stand? Thank you, Kathy. The second award was the Saxon Award. This award criteria was to foster a positive attitude, demonstrate initiative, and stands out amongst the AU community, and exemplifies the purple and gold Saxon spirit. And the award winner was Patricia DeBertalis, the Associate Dean of Students. And finally, our third award was named the Robert Condrite Lifelong Learner Award. And Dr. Condrite was able to join us earlier this week and spoke to the faculty and staff, and I didn't know just how many credit hours that Dr. Condrite has taken since retirement. I believe it was over 250 credit hours of work. Yes, definitely a lifelong learner. The award criteria for this was continually seeks further education, professional development to enhance their growth, demonstrates a passion for gaining knowledge over a sustained period of time, and proactively shares that knowledge or expertise amongst the campus community. And this year's award winner was Nadine Shardlow. Nadine isn't able to join us. Yes. Unfortunately, Nadine wasn't able to join us tonight, but we do thank all of our award winners and those in which their honor is for.
Oops. One more faculty member to recognize who's here tonight, Stephen Tidrow. Stephen, for faculty excellence. He's one of our Inamori professors in the School of Engineering and also the representative on behalf of the New York State College of Ceramics. So thank you for all you do on behalf of our university. And then last, would like to recognize the individuals who are part of the Strategic Retention Council to stand. This is one of our important strategic initiatives. A number are here tonight. So Bill DeBrell, Nancy Furlong, Lou Lichtman, Angie Toe, and Kathy Woofter. Kathy chaired this group, and it will have important implications in terms of raising our game for professional advising through technology to better connect the dots. They've also identified this open source software program called DECA. That's a decision tree-based model that has what we've seen so far, an 82% predictive ability. So we're going to be kicking the tires on this, and if it works as well, it should not only help us, but it may turn into a great licensing opportunity, because this is an issue a lot of universities around the world struggle with. Well, our evening's come to a close. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for all you collectively do for this special place, and most of all on behalf of the students and those that will celebrate becoming official Alfred University alumni tomorrow. So see you in the morning.